it?
Interviews with
We gotta
canisters.
stretch.
Go, babe.
We gotta stretch.
They'll stretch each other out.
Are you sure? Can you see without glasses?
Yeah, I have contacts.
You sure?
This is questions with canisters.
Welcome to the channel. So, I'm here, Cody from Rowdys Garage, with my boy, Albert, JR.
JR Jr.
We're gonna enter a clip of what this man drives, but he goes right along with the Rotary theme. Insert cool Rotary burnout clip here.
If you have it.
If we have it. We have it. Anyway, he's here to help me. We're going to discuss all the commonly asked questions of the build. Now that we got our final game plan, everything's good, we're going to discuss exactly what we want, exactly our plans for the car, and how we're going to go about getting it. Ready to rock?
Deal.
Deal? All right, hit me with it.
So first and foremost, I think a lot of people don't know exactly what Rowdys is. Rowdys Garage.
Okay. Rowdys Garage is, or started out as, like everyone else, driveway builds, me, the friends doing everything, building our own cars. It slowly progressed into something a bit more. Now we have a whole shop. Had a shop for a few years now, and every year it's kind of just evolving more and more. So we're a selective welding and fabrication shop. We take on bigger projects, private label stuff, and then certain stuff to just fill the gaps between the normal day-to-day jobs. But it is mainly still friend-based with selective work in between of just all cool, custom, badass fabrication and just having fun.
What do we have? What's going on here? What's the overview project here?
So the project started out, a lot of people know this, every day we get more and more followers, more and more people tuning in, so I'll go over it again. The car was destined to be a DTM time attack, road course style car. It was going to be a crazy build, but it was never going to be insane over the top. We were going to run the normal motor, the stock motor that comes in the car. We were going to do a whole carbon body on the car, all the full aero, whole nine, cage it, but it was still going to be relatively OEM. We ended up getting into a huge lawsuit with the company who was supposed to provide all the goods for the car. Everything came in wrong. It was supposed to be all carbon composite. It was all fiberglass. They didn't want to help us. They pretty much said, well, we messed up, but we're not going to do anything to help you. So it delayed the whole build. While things were stagnant, I had to come up with what I wanted to do, whether it was try and design our own custom aero, whether it was do this, do that. And I just kind of lost day by day interest in the time attack style build. It was just, it felt wrong with the car, how everything was going, it was just a nightmare. So that turned into going back to one of my dream builds, was a rotary powered, just street monster. So the new plan for the M4 was to become still a very, very, very lightly street-driven, crazy drag/roll race combo car that was going to look real clean from the outside, look like a show car all around, in and out, and then also have a lot of power and just be an absolute treat to mess with the Supras, the Vipers, the Lambo, like all the real crazy Texas 2K style stuff.
2K big dogs.
Yeah, so that's what the build turned into. Didn't start that way, but that's the route we're going, and I'm happier than ever.
So we're sitting in front of a fat rotary motor.
Fact.
Fat. Why?
So, like I said, always, as far as my opinion, I'm not talking a normal 2-rotor, I'm not talking anything, but once you start getting into 3 and 4 rotor motors, and then semi-P-port and peripheral ports, and once you start really pushing the envelope on rotaries, no matter what route you go, turbo, NA, anything, there's nothing that sounds. There's nothing that like channels the essence of a race car as much as a rotary. People can argue it, but when you have a true straight pipe, crazy, just nasty ported rotary motor, everything you could possibly imagine done to it, there's nothing that sounds anywhere close to bringing just
I
that
agree.
race car vibe without getting into F1 territory.
I agree. There's a lot of people who don't like the rotaries, but no one can argue that they sound amazing.
So if you do all the proper steps, which is where we come to the build, full boost did a whole build feature for anyone who wants to check. We'll link it so anyone wants to see. But there's the same thing. To make it extra reliable, all the stud work, the oversized studs, the extra studs, going with performance apex seals, the billet crank, the billet plates, CNC porting, all this stuff helps create that reliable package, helps hold the power together. The dry sump, all the additional cooling we're doing on the car, all this leads to help solve some of the issues where the whole package, when all said and done, should be just as reliable as anything else in this territory of power.
We have a billet motor here. How many of these are in existence that you know of?
So it's extremely hard to say. All the real top drag guys, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say probably 99% of the drag guys who are in the 6s and the real guys pushing the limits. Every single one of those dudes is running some form of billet plate, whether it's the centers, outer. There's some form of a billet motor there. How many street cars? I know Australia, New Zealand, there's quite a few dudes doing billet stuff on the street just for the sake of good cast parts are getting harder and harder to find.
Yep.
But people in the US running billet plates on the street, I want to say maybe on one hand you can count, and to my knowledge I'm the only person running anything of this level that's going to be any sort of a street car. And I don't know Mr. Rob Dam, I don't know if he plans on taking that RX on the street or not, but he's the only one running any form of billet plate that I know of on a somewhat,
His 4, right?
yeah, his is a 4-rotor, it's a different style build, but he's probably one of the few guys actually in the US that's not just a true drag car that's running all around. So this is, as far as in the US and as far as what we're doing, and as far as a 3-rotor built to this level, even the drag cars don't have the level of detail that this thing was done with. There wasn't a single thing skipped. Anything you can do to make the power was done, and anything you could do to make it look like a showpiece was done. And there's just not many of those quality ones out there.
What is the goal? What is the end game? What are you trying to achieve here?
So the whole thing is to build something not only I'm happy with as a fabricator, as kind of like a visionary, I guess you can say, having an idea completely in your head and executing it with Whereas if it's on a customer's car or someone else's car, a friend's car, their ideas get in the way of your ideas, or their finances get in the way, or
Yeah.
there's always a limiting factor. The goal with this car was to build something where within reason, nothing got in the way. So it was anything that I could dream up, make it, and the end result will be all the blood, sweat, tears, everything that came from here poured out into one piece. And that was the goal, to build something I can truly like sit there and step back from and be like, that was what I wanted.
Quick, straight shot question, power, how much are we looking at?
Power, the goal, like I said, the goal is to compete with all the big dogs. I'll give a shout out to a few of the companies who have the sickest street cars in the world. T1,
Yeah.
their GTRs, anyone cruising a T1 GTR on the street. Calvo with the Vipers, NTH Moto, Vipers, both just amazing street cars. And then we have Underground, obviously,
Yeah, the
Lambos,
big dogs, yeah.
all the big dogs like that. So there's a lot of dudes running insane street cars that are just, they're not street cars, they shouldn't be on the street. But that's what this is. So this is to try and, not that I'm saying I'm going to beat any of them, but we want to have
Trying to
some
be in the
fun.
party.
We want to get invited to the party.
Yeah.
So, and to do that, you're not going to roll up with a 1,000 horsepower car. So the car is going to be pretty well gutted. Everything that we're doing is going to be way lighter. So with that being said, we want to be sub 3, and on boost we want to make 15.
15.
So we will be spraying. We got the capabilities, we know we can make more power, it can handle more power than 15, so we're going to try and get to 15 on boost, and then when we run into the cars that deserve it, we'll have a shot on top. So if need be, we'll spray it and we'll deal with traction and see what the car can do as we get there. But it should be enough to, with the weight and the power
Yeah.
and the power band, it should be enough to really have some fun with a lot of real fast, high horsepower cars in the 15, 16, 17, 18, 1900 horsepower range. Definitely be on the street of Florida 2K. Worst case, if Texas 2K don't happen, Florida 2K will. I would like to attend SEMA with the car.
Which leads to my next. We are heading towards the end of summer. What is the realistic deadline?
I would like to see this thing fired before the end of the year.
Months.
I would like to see it start up before the end of the year. As far as driving under its own power, I would like to try and hit Texas 2K. So that gives us, I don't know, 8 months, 9 months, something like that. Don't know if it's going to happen, but worst case, we hit impact after that. So that gives us that's a year from now. So that'll be the goal, somewhere around there. We have to take a quick break. We're done. We're done with the video anyway.
We're done with the video.
So,
Rowdy's Garage.
Rowdys
Cool
Garage,
shit.
like,
Arc 7's are going to be here.
share.
Like, share, subscribe. Cool stuff.
Yeah,
cool
we
welding.
got
If you didn't have enough shit on his plate, you got another surprise coming.
more projects coming in, more parts to discuss, lots of cool content, just like this. Smash that subscribe button, right? And that's it. We're done. We're going to get pizza.